All right, we are back with you now on Wave Listens Live. Another great segment coming your way now. Jim Desmond is joining us from Desmond Law Office. We have got a lot to cover today, so I want to launch right in and kind of do what we've done in the past, just for in case we've got some new folks joining us, just kind of an introduction about you. And you've been at this a long time.
Yeah, I've been doing car wrecks for over 20 years. That's all I do. I limit my practice. Bar Association will never let you say I can't use a certain word, but I limit it to it. I know what it is. Yeah, there you go. But I limit it only to that. And that's one reason I kind of, in my other segments I've done with you, you've seen me be a little harsh in the big firms, but it's because I've done this so long and I've dealt with so many people that I kind of know what people are, I think, looking for. Yeah. You know, and especially because, I mean, we have all the, here I go, I'm already starting. We have all these TV advertisers, and I advertise on TV now. But it's like, it's literally, I turn around lunchtime, it's like a Super Bowl commercial, and they're trying to get your attention rather than either trying to give you some information or trying to show you, what can they do for you? What's, why should I call some other big firm or something like that versus this person? So, but yeah,
Am I going to need an attorney if I say the word? Am I allowed to say it? You probably got to think about that one, right?
The guy who does my social media will tell me he has to edit it out.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
But, yeah.
Well, okay, there are benefits to having an attorney that is in one particular focus area, and because you've seen so many of these types of cases, that cuts through what you were talking about on the commercials. There's all kinds of stuff thrown at you, and you're trying to disseminate that information as somebody who's looking for an attorney and wonder, okay, is this what I need? If you are able to focus your practice on one area, that brings a level of kind of cutting through the noise, so to speak, for your clients.
Well, and that's the thing, is nobody wants to contact an attorney. I don't care what kind of attorney it is, okay? It's if you contact an attorney, you're either planning for a bad event, the possibility, or you've been in it. In my case, it's been you've been in a car wreck. And that's the situation where it's like, I always am amazed because there's one large firm that's now starting to advertise more about how easy it is to get hold of them electronic and using electronic apps to get hold of them and all this other stuff, which I use electronics with my clients to make it easier, but I want to meet with my client. I want to go to them. Last client I just signed up, I went down there. We're both, as a matter of fact, car aficionados, and we're talking about that. But I'm seeing the wrecked vehicle. I'm able to take pictures of it. I'm able to take pictures of the scars. I think that is the biggest issue we have with the whole injury field in Louisville, Kentucky, which is you have all these big firms trying to be in it because it's a very lucrative business. And it's like, instead, what about customer service? And I think, one person says, we've started to use the phrase, experience the Desmond Difference. Well, the Desmond Difference is hopefully the idea of, okay, you're going to reach me on my cell phone throughout the entire case. We're going to work together, and we're going to figure out, what's best. Because, it's not, personal injury is not a, let's put the square holes in the circles, or here we can just figure out the puzzle. The puzzle is ever changing, right? Because all of a sudden you find out somebody doesn't have insurance, or they're not going to cover your car, or the medical bills are getting too high, whatever it might be. And that's why I like that one-on-one relationship with my clients. That's why I've used my cell phone for over 20 years. I'm not going to change it. I've got hopefully about another 20 years left, and then I'm stopping. So.
Okay, you get a new number then, maybe.
No,
you'll still give
just turn off the advertising, right?
How you talked about the Desmond Difference? How important was it for you to have something like that so that people know what they're getting that quality when they call you?
I think it's huge. I mean, again, because I was at a big firm. You got to understand, I was at a big firm.
So you know it from both sides.
Yeah, I left a big firm in '05, and I've seen it was much more like a factory. So I think, again, that idea from day one that they can reach me directly has been huge, because, again, a lot of my clients are repeat clients. And I mean, it's funny, I'm going to sound a little conceited, but if people will go Google me, they'll see I've got 45 or 50 like 5-star reviews, and that's not as much as some of these bigger firms, but to have that many good reviews, I mean, I'm just proud of that, because, again, it's the people who keep calling you. And that's what you want. And you want them to call you about other stuff, too. I don't do it. I only do car wrecks. But, again, if they're my client and I need to do something to help them, or give them some advice from either who else to talk to, or give them some 20-year-old advice from law school, I can do that. Yeah. Because, again, an attorney should be like your doctor, okay? It should not be, if you went to a doctor's office and you were stuck, dealing with the receptionist and the nurse, and not the doctor, you wouldn't go back there. But law firms do that all the time with case managers and paralegals, and everybody says, oh, that's just the normal. No, you should be able to deal with your attorney the whole time. And as a matter of fact, that's why when a case doesn't go exactly like you want, that's why my clients will tend to trust me a little bit more, because we've had a relationship. I've seen some things coming. I've warned them, or I've said, or they've seen me swing the bat at a couple of things, and maybe we missed the ball, but they know we took our best effort at it. So
yeah, well, speaking of some of those big firms and some of the advertising that we do see, a lot of times you can probably recount some of them, word for word, but you'll see stuff that says, we can get you the most money, and you're saying that's not always the case at all.
Now, the biggest thing you can do, well, two things. I always think it's funny because they say that, and they also want to make it sound like the insurance companies are afraid of them. I did some research recently. The big firms that you think of recover, their gross revenue is about in the millions. Allstate, State Farm, the revenue is in billions. They're not afraid of anybody. The biggest thing a person can do to maximize any kind of recovery for themselves is to give an attorney a good bat to swing. Like I always say, it's kind of like, they say with computers, garbage in, garbage out. If you give me good material, which can be photographs of the car, a police report gives me more information, going to the emergency room, it says right off the bat that you're hurt, photographs of your bruising, your scars, those kind of things that, they give you a whole lot more to throw at the insurance company and say, hey, these are the facts. We have our facts in order, and we're going to present them to a jury one day. That's what catches their attention. Yeah. Because insurance companies aren't afraid. They want, and they're not even evil. Everybody wants to act like they're evil. They're not evil. I have very good relationships with a lot of insurance adjusters, and it is really, do you have your act together, and do you understand the strengths and weaknesses of your case? Because if you don't, that's the other thing is, okay, do you really, my clients, my average case probably settles 8 months from the time the accident happens. And, maybe 6 sometimes. But, you don't want to have somebody in 2 years of litigation if it's not going to be fruitful, because it's a pain in the tail end for the client. Mm-hmm. It's keeping them from doing things they want to do in their life.
Right. And not to mention that it's hanging over your head that whole time. Okay, I'm glad you were sticking around. We get one more segment together because there's so much to cover. This time of year that's coming up can be one of the most fun, the Derby season. But with that, we've got tons of people coming in from out of town. So Jim's going to stay with us. We're going to learn how to keep yourself, maybe your vehicles, things like that, safe during this time, during the Derby season. We'll give you those tips after the short break.